Chisampama, you know what it is.
Always gotta go back to the clap. This is where it all started. Yeah, man. Today we are doing that. Today we are actually I'm gonna try and be fancy with it, my man, and like have headphones on and shit.
Oh yeah, no, do your thing, my bro. I mean, you have to do anything that you have to make the environment conducive to being the best Obakeng at all times.
Basically. So yeah, welcome to it. Finally.
Yeah.
We get to do our very first visual podcast. Easyjust Podcast for you. Brought to you live from Cape Town via Kraaifontein.
Yeah, you know what it is. We are in Kraaifontein out
man.
here on the side, where Uber drivers are, they like ask you, where are you going, my friend? My friend, where are you going, my friend? The guy asked me today, bro. The guy was frantic. He's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to Kraaifontein. My friend, where in Kraaifontein are you going? Where in Kraaifontein are you going? And I'm like, bro, I'm like going to Purane Estate. Where is that? Is that the township?
For real, because the thing is, Kraaifontein has different.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, there's Kraaifontein,
Scottsdene.
Yeah,
I've been to those places.
And that's where I live. I live on the other side. Angle your mic this way a little bit, so yeah.
Does it sound different? Because I like
you're doing the MC thing, but now your sound needs to hit here.
Must it hit here?
Yeah, there we go.
So there's like a clitoris vibe happening on the microphone.
Basically, that's how.
I didn't know that.
So I'm actually teaching you mic technique on camera. This is beautiful.
So it has to be right here. Eh?
There it is.
This is the G spot.
Can you stop doing that because you're doing that shit in my ear.
Now,
you're doing that fucking shit in my ear.
But yeah, man, this guy was very frantic. He was scared. He's telling me that some time ago he got hijacked. And they said if he doesn't pay like a 3,000 Rand kind of ransom for his car, they're gonna put sand into his fuel tank. And so they drove around to him until they negotiated until he agreed. Then they went to an ATM where he withdrew the money, and then they left him alone.
Jesus, I thought like when you get hijacked, these people just like most of the time they just take your cash. I mean, take your car and like. I know they do the whole driving around thing, but I never knew really what that was. So they were like trying to solicit money and stuff from him. Yeah.
And I can see how it would be like that, I can see robbers being like, thinking of themselves as civil in that way.
Okay, because we're not killing you, just mind your mind.
We're not going to kill you. We're not going to take your car, but you must pay the fee that we must have. And the fee is 3,000. If you can't pay the fee, then it's
But in the same sense, if you don't pay the fee, then we're putting shit in your car and you're losing your car anyway, or it blows up or whatever. I don't even know what happens to a thing,
if you put sand into a fuel tank, I think that sand fucks it up.
Oh, well, okay.
It's kind of like...
I like the way you said it in conviction, as if like you knew what to
make sure that you understand,
I think it kind of fucks it up.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, where the fuel goes?
Yeah, oh yeah.
If sand gets in there,
oh my God, then... Yeah, then you probably can't drive the car anymore.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck!
And like now you're gonna press down the accelerator, and then the jet that shoots the fuel into the compartment that combusts is now going to have sand.
Shit, that is completely fucked.
Now, if we know anything about sand, if you've ever been to the beach with a woman, sand has to stay where sand belongs.
True. Doesn't belong in cars. Because it also takes a while. Remember when you go to the beach, right?
Yeah.
And then you do pick up some sand. It takes forever to get that sand out the car as well.
Exactly.
So imagine if that same sand is in your fuel tank.
Imagine.
That is messed up.
And they are pouring it in like in a funnel, hey? So not on some. They're not bringing it in flip-flops. Like when you come from the beach, they're gonna get a funnel. And they're gonna pour it in carefully so that they don't drop a speck of sand.
So you're getting all the sand basically.
A speckle, I don't know.
Yeah, these motherfuckers want all the smoke. You're getting all the sand. But I didn't even know they do that kind of shit, man. Yo,
it's crazy, man. Because you know what? I don't have a car.
Yeah.
But I used to have a car.
I remember the black. What was it?
It was a red Renault Megane.
Okay.
So now I wanted to get a car, and I was like, wouldn't it be nice if I got myself like just a nice, kind of sedan that I'll keep forever, and I wanted to get one, and I was like, no, I'll get it, and then you know what? Instead of paying the installment on it, I'll just Bolt or Uber now and then from my place, because it's just something you can do while you're sitting at home.
True that.
And I can just pause the FIFA, or tell my girlfriend to take over the cooking and go do the trip, and I could probably make up enough money to pay the installment. So I was like, this is a go. I should do this. But then I keep on hearing these stories every time I'm in a ball, Tuguti. It's not all plain sailing. I'm not sure how much money these niggas are really making.
Yeah.
And then, you'll be making a 5-year commitment to something that might, be susceptible to lockdowns, to legislation.
Everything. To a lot of legislation. To a
so I was like,
legislation.
I'm not sure I want to do that. And I get into this car, and this guy is saying he doesn't want to go to Kraaifontein, Kren. He only relaxed at the circle.
So he saw
before he turned right at the circle. He was like, okay, over here. Oh, okay. Where do I go? Straight. Okay,
when he saw like civilization, that like a non-threatening environment. That's when shucks.
He's fine, my brother.
I didn't even know that living here like made Ubers feel like, because I would always pick up an Uber from here.
Just like the last bit on this is that he said that he thinks that so I was telling him, I was thinking about getting like a car to do this, and he said, no, but we know you're South African, so because you're South African, it'll probably be better for you because you know how to speak to your countrymen, and you can understand, like, maybe I think he meant to say you can understand the language in between, you can read between the lines and assess if you're really in danger or not.
Right.
And he thinks that maybe these were South Africans taking advantage of him because he's a foreigner. And I wondered if he was just saying that because the climate is a little bit charged right now when it comes to put South Africans first and xenophobic stuff, or is he really speaking from an honest place and really encouraging me? A part of me really wants the car, so he's hoping he's actually encouraging me.
Probably, he probably is encouraging you, because I'm guessing whatever, man. When there's more people, when there's more South Africans in the game, when there's more people in that space, it might make it a better, like, viable business for them. But also, I think because he's foreign, he will have his own fears, validated fears per se.
Validated, completely
fears.
validated.
Yeah, because unless you have that lived experience, you never really know.
Yeah,
Really know what's
I think
going on.
one could even say in South Africa, a foreigner's fear can almost be equivalent to a woman's fear.
True. I never thought about it like that, but yeah.
Because foreigners have to go through xenophobia and women have to go through like GBV.
Menophobia.
Menophobia.
Basically.
Menophobia, that's a good one. I like that.
That's coin. That's
yeah.
It that
we should actually call it toxic masculinity manophobia. That's like the acute. That's like the acute. That's when you really diagnosed.
Yeah, man.
That's from the lab.
I know, yeah, no, that comes straight from the petri dish.
Exactly, yeah. Straight from the microscope.
Yeah. So, we've derailed a little bit, but, that's what happens on podcasts. We talk about whatever the fuck we want, however, whenever, whatever. It's a podcast about nothing, about everything all at once. But this is the first episode, man. The very, very first episode. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming here. So that we can do this thing, man. Because I think... we put out the promo and everything, and people were waiting for it.
And thank you to all the people that really enjoyed the promo video. Well, I think we should just make promo videos as like not an aside, but as a creative part outside of the platform that we're doing now. Because I think it from the people that spoke to me, they said they just enjoyed it, and it was like a meme. It had a meme effect.
Yeah.
And so I think just keeping it going is nice because it can be just part of the offering.
Why not, man? Because if people are enjoying it, it could also be like more content. You know what I mean? It could also be something that we use as a supplementary sort of content thing. For what we're doing here. So yeah.
Do you know what? You just put an idea in my head now, and I'm just gonna we've got about 2 minutes there. So I think. What about an idea of, Pof, let me say it like this. One thing I haven't seen when it came to podcast or this type of media dissemination, I haven't seen people putting out shorter stuff as promo vids of the actual stuff. Okay, I have, but what if that was the actual offering?
Then what would be the end game,
excerpts. And then, but you always have the option to go watch the whole thing if you want.
No.
But actually, the
clips,
the feed, let me say, the main substrate that people actually get is the short little stuffs all the time.
Because what happens with these things is that you do tend to get like a divided audience.
Yeah,
where some would love to watch the whole thing, and some would just enjoy the most, I don't know, powerful
entertaining
or the most
excerpts, highlights.
entertaining bit. Joe Rogan does that. Rogan has 2 separate channels where he has a full podcast and then he has clips. Flagrant 2 also does that. One of my favorite podcasts in the world do that. So yeah, man. We will find a way. Like as we continue doing this thing, as we continue growing and learning.
Can I pick your thought on that just a little bit?
Yep.
Do you think that it's intentional? Do you think that Joe Rogan intentionally pushes which one first and foremost?
Of course.
The full or the snippets?
I think he does. The show always drops first, but then what happens is the snippets come later to draw an audience that don't look forward to the show. You know what I mean? And then that audience eventually becomes full episode watchers. But before we run into time, I need to just go back and do this thing so we have another 12 minutes, because we're recording a 12-minute burst, because that's what we do.
It's actually very interesting because I really liked seeing us. Can I just
I'm gonna turn
it's actually very interesting because the beauty of podcasts is that we say now that that's the thing, we talk about anything, and we talked about the Uber driver coming here. But the truth is, we actually spoke about xenophobia, about GBV, about a little bit about personal economics, and about safety, and we actually talked about a lot of stuff in that, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, man. That's the nice thing is it's conversations that we're gonna end up we engage in it by default, and we don't actually necessarily see, but there is a lot that we are addressing or that we are touching on that that we quote unquote will take for granted, but if you look at it, these are the things that affect us every damn day.
Yeah. No, most def, man. They do.
Because most like if you're trying to take a Uber and the first thing you say is I live in Guguletu, they're like they're not going there and everything.
It's
and
so tough,
it
bro.
addresses a lot that.
And I mean, honestly, Obakeng Nam, if I do buy the car and Uber, I don't know if I'm gonna go to a Guguletu I don't think I would, bro. Like, quite honestly, I don't think I would, Nam, because I know in my own, I'm from a little town in the Eastern Cape, obviously. Where I'm from, there I can go anywhere I want. And maybe in East London, I can go anywhere I want. But in Googs, I don't really know the danger signs. I've lived here a long time, yes, but I don't know how to be pop-pop.
Yeah.
And you have to be pop-pop.
Obviously, because I mean, in a space, especially if it's a foreign foreign country, like Cape Town, or any place, for example, that you don't know, you will only exist in the spaces that demand your presence or that you want to be in. So, namely, would be school or wherever your friends are or wherever the entertainment is at and whatever. And if you're not from any place, and you go to an unfamiliar territory like a Googs or like a Kailish, and if you don't know the place well, and there's documented evidence of crime and all of that stuff, you have to it's just natural instinct that you're not gonna be comfortable. You're gonna feel unsafe.
And generally, I don't feel like that about townships, though.
Yeah. No, I don't.
And I feel
either.
like most black people don't feel like that.
No, definitely not.
But I feel like if I was a Uber or like a Bolt driver, and then I had to go there, knowing that I'm driving some motherfucker who's sitting in the back seat, and I just look like a particular. It's like going to the township with a white person. Let me say, it's like that, It's like, so if you'd be rolling a car, with a white person, there's a targetness about that, because it's like, first of all, you probably, if people don't
stick
know
out like a sore thumb,
you just stick out like a sore thumb. And there's like just a target thing, and I'm just wary of all of those target things all the time. Whenever if I'm thinking of going to a car, I'm very wary of like the target thing.
Yeah, no, that I understand, and especially like for example, when you are driving an Uber, you are driving a well-maintained vehicle. And we know hijacking. Let's not just box Ikas to say only hijackings happen, Ikas, or only danger when it comes to cars happen, Ikas. Fuck no, it doesn't. It happens everywhere. It tends to be more accelerated, or what's the word?
No, I think those guys are targeted.
They target because now they know. Because also, again, when you're an Uber driver, what else do you have in your phone? In your car?
You definitely have a phone.
Yeah, a smartphone at that. You have a car that's probably worth a lot of money because since it's a transport car, it's probably well maintained.
Yeah, it's
and
at
things
least
like
running.
That. It's running. It's all of those things and everything. So
and
it is.
chances are you're a foreigner, and these guys know that sometimes people have drivers that are
Mm.
foreigners that might not be legal or might have like just precarious situations, which will make the case that they claim at the police station just fall down the pecking order somewhat in some ways, and so they do that, and so that they know that these guys are vulnerable in that way.
And it sucks for it to be like that because if you're just a human being that lives ekus or just lives anywhere and you just want
And you're just
the
trying to get home.
You know what I mean? The right to an Uber, just like everybody else, and you deserve that right. You deserve it just like everybody. You have the rights, you have the means to just take an Uber to go home.
And you actually want to stimulate the economy. You want to go do something at a certain time, but you need the transport to go do that.
And that's all you want to do. But now the what again? Like the situation that's happening there, the crimes, that has like this is the thing about fucking like about crime-ridden areas, especially. You know what I mean? They take away just the civil rights of people who are not even doing the criminals, the people who are enacting all the shit. They take away the civil rights of just the human beings who are not doing anything, who just want to live a normal life and go about their business just like all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just take that away because now on just the basis of where you lived, you are judged by what the safety, what could happen, and you are taking me into a danger zone, and it's not your fault that you live, and it's not your fault that things are like that there, and it takes away the fucking civil liberties. It sucks, man.
So uncomfortable when he was like pestering me about where you're going because he sounded very frantic, and I was like, hey, like is because I'm like, what the fuck, what's going on? Is this guy okay? Where's he like I don't know where he's taking me, like where's he taking me, like because I'm like hey bro, what's happening now, because he was being very aggressive about, hey my man, where you going, and you know what, whenever I rock up not to the Uber, to the Bolt driver, I've got my phone open, I've got the app open, I've got their name open on my screen, and then I say Didier or Olivier or Chinomso or whatever the case is. And then they'll respond, and then I get into the car. So I was very like, hey, why is this guy distressing so much?
Maybe, I don't know. Do you think maybe he has trauma? Like maybe
he certainly has trauma. He definitely has trauma, my man. This guy was talking about this incident unprovoked all the way from the time I got into the car. First to kind of explain why he's acting so erratically, and then when he was calmer, and I think maybe he realized that
he's not under anything.
Maybe he's not in danger.
You don't appear any threatening. You don't look like the guy who can take anyone to like the rural crime fontaine.
I can't. No, I would definitely. I'm definitely the bait in any crime that I'm in. I am the bait in that crime. I'm not the trigger guy.
You're bait. You are collateral damage.
Yeah, I'm the bait. I'm the realistic factor. I'm the pool.
You're the one that ends up in the extra space in the boot, like
base guy.
That's my bait.
I'm the bait in any crime, guys. No, I'm the guy they send out.
Like if they were like hijacking Olympics, ne? And you had to start from like easy level to like Super Saiyan.
Gold,
They would start with you. You'd be like, okay, sharp. Potential target.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
That's kind of funny. That's funny.
So like, I was saying before that, this guy and acting erratically. He was talking about it the whole time until we actually got here, and he's still shook, man. He's still shook.
Well, I hope he made it back to wherever he lives on.
But I guess it's also because of him not knowing, if even if I hadn't heard his story, there's no ways I would take a trip from my place to like Wallerstein or like Scottsdene.
Yeah.
You also have to read the news, man. Read the news.
What's going on down there.
I wouldn't, if the police were going to Crossroads for some reason, and I left my cell phone in the pocket of a policeman, I would not go with them in their own buggy to Crossroads. I don't care what their business is there. I don't care if they're there to go close down a shibin. I don't care if they're there to go check if a place that sells food is clean.
So basically your mandate is
Andizi. No ways. The only way I would go is if I went with somebody that lived there.
Well, yeah, true. It makes
Yeah.
it makes all the sense. It makes all the
The
sense.
total cheat code in any place in South Africa or in any hood in the world, I think, actually, where some shit might go down, where it's fire, the only recourse you have is to go with somebody that lives there, because only they can give you
They know.
up-to-date information about
Yep.
that guy might be carrying a gun, that guy hasn't taken his pills this morning. All
Don't
of
go
those,
to this place because shit goes down there. You might just
Yeah.
lose a left toe.
That
because-
hang, don't use that hang between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock.
Yeah, because
know?
shit, yeah, man, and that is the cheat code. So yeah, if you watching this and you've always wondered what's the cheat code to navigating Ekasi, if you're white, get a black friend that lives there.
Exactly.
That lives there.
Exactly.
Not the one that you find at campus or at work or whatever that lives in Clem. No.
Don't find the cousin of the guy that lives there. It must be the guy that woke up there this morning that is able to say, hey, last night I could hear Ukuti Sakumzi didn't take his meds.
Wow.
It needs to be that
or
guy.
has lived there for a significant amount of time to know at least where to go, where not to go within the context of what he could remember. Like, somebody that still has family there or whatever. And then that kind of thing.
But I wonder, because I think of my town where I come from, and I don't know if I'd be able to tell you where it's dangerous right now, because so much has changed from the time that I was, from like 10 years ago.
I feel like that about Bloemfontein as well sometimes. When
It's
I
so
go back
weird,
there,
man.
I'm
It's
just
like all the places that were selling just weed are like drug spots.
Is
like hectic.
No, Bloem is different. We don't have drug problems.
You guys don't have drug issues in
No,
Bloem?
we don't have drug issues.
No
in Bloem.
nyaupe, no woomba.
Yeah, not really. It's not as apparent as in other places. Not really.
Do you know what you guys have though? One time
Potholes.
I was in
Potholes.
potholes definitely, and asbestos roofs in some places. One time
hold
I
that
went
thought.
to-
Hold that thought. I wanna reset real quick. Hold that
Okay,
thought.
cool. So Bloem might not have drugs, but I'll tell you what Bloem does have. One
Yeah.
time I was in Botshabelo. No, you must know where that is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
do.
so I was rolling in the streets of Botshabelo, talking to the people of Botshabelo. Don't ask me why or how. That's just how I roll.
in
And
Botshabelo.
in Botshabelo.
Yeah.
And they were telling me about these young men that come back from the bush. So I can kind of relate to this issue a little bit. They come back from the bush and then they like in these troops,
Yeah.
And there was little gang formations and some fighting. And then they used to not really terrorize the streets, but when we were talking earlier on about how it's good to have concise information about the environment you're in and the
Yep.
shit that's happening. If you're in Botshabelo, you want to know where them niggas are at
Yeah, of course.
all the
of
time.
course.
So that's what Bloem kinda has, I guess.
Yeah, it used to have a lot of that. It dissipated in for years, and then it came back around 2-3 years ago. I don't know if the thing is still going on because obviously I'm not at home anymore. But there was a time.
So it wasn't just Botshabelo and
No,
Tabancho places around.
no. It was a thing that was running rampant across most of the Free State. Most of the Free State. Obviously, it would be more rampant in smaller towns because of the makeup of the smaller town and all of that. But it was a thing. I remember.
Even in Sebokeng, are you aware of Sebokeng?
Sebokeng is somewhere in Gauteng, I guess.
Yes, but is there like a big Bloem or Sotho community there? Because they also had like the similar thing.
Sebokeng is a Tswana Sotho, I think Sotho, mostly Sesotho community. I've never been to Sebokeng, but I know about it. But it's a big Tswana community. But I think it's more like what had happened in the history of Gauteng, where you get people from everywhere and then they happen to group each other.
Yeah, I
and
see,
then
I see.
so it became a section of like migrant labor, whatever it came as. Obviously, if I'm wrong, but I think that's how a place like Sebokeng came about. But I remember there was a spurt of murders and stuff and like gruesome like muggings that would happen in Bloem, where people, some of the guys, like people would get like burnt alive. There was a crew that was actually doing that, where they were burning people alive. In this is stuff that I heard, you know what I mean? This is stuff that I was hearing. They had a name and I forgot what name they were going by, these kids.
They always have names.
Some
these kids,
kind of
man.
name, man. Some kind of name.
In Queenstown, we had a similar thing. That's why I can relate to this stuff so much. Except in Queenstown, it wasn't guys that had just come back from the bush. It was like lighties, like maybe from about 10 to about 15 years old, bro, terrorizing everyone. They used to call themselves Amapere, which means the bears. And there was literally a curfew in Queenstown.
Yeah.
So you couldn't leave the house after like 7 or 8 o'clock. If you did, it was a tibana namapere, and they chop you up into like tiny little pieces. You know, like little kids. And then you had like what do they call it? Like mob justice. And so they'd go out and they'd go like murder a kid, like the mob, and that's how they finally made them stop.
In Lesotho, I think Lesotho had a similar problem. I don't know if it still persists. But in Lesotho, so I've heard, obviously this is not qualified information, but so I've heard that in Lesotho they had something like that as well, where people would get murdered and then they'd be literally harvesting their organs.
Ooh,
basically.
So that wasn't on like a muti thing. That's just what guys just.
I think part of it was partly muti, partly that, and partly just some organ black market thing of some sort. What I have no idea.
Do you think people just buy organs on the black market for like, not like collection, but not for muti? Because I can't imagine a scenario where somebody's buying a penis and it's not because they believe this penis has some magical power.
I don't know, man. Look, my thing is, I think anything is possible because people buy things for many different reasons. Because, like, for example, think about a situation. This I'm completely making this up in my head. I think people can like sell organs for like emergency organ transplants and shit, but then sell them to say countries that don't have maybe the resources or whatever. So, say for example, you are.
But those guys, though, like the guys in Bloom, chop someone up in the field.
You never know, bro. You know. The thing is again, like, yeah, a lot of the stuff will be like very, I don't want to use the word informal, but you know, very gruesome, whatever. But a lot of this can be very organized crime. It could be very organized.
Wow.
I think it could be very. It doesn't matter even if it's happening wherever. It could be very organized.
That is so true. You know, because when you think of Amapere, you don't think that, hey, you know what? Maybe they might know the victim's blood type. And actually, but then you need to, like, don't you, when you cut somebody's like pancreas out to harvest it in order to put it into somebody else's body, there's a certain kind of way you cut it. You can't just yank it out.
Yeah, of course. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think, look, at the end of the day, man, a lot of these things are about money. Yeah. A lot of these things are about money. They're not only about creating or like, you know, committing these crimes or whatever and killing people just because of Umuti. And I think also in the end, like at the end game of Umuti as well, there's money involved in that.
Yeah,
if you're going to sell somebody's heart or there's money involved in that. But I think that there's levels to I honestly think there's levels to these things because there's parts of like there's worlds about crime and about all these things that we don't know. You know what I mean?
And that have to be part of everyday life because this shit still carries on happening over and over and over.
We don't know. We don't. For all you know, let's say for example, there is a shortage of, I don't know, hearts or whatever it is that's the popular, I don't know how to say, the popular organ. What would be the popular organ?
What would be the popular organ?
The popular organ, I think because we drink a lot, the popular organ would be a liver. Popular organ.
You know, you're right.
Or the heart or something. I don't know.
I want to say the lungs too might be popular then in that case.
So the
but I want to say
organ,
dicks would be on demand too.
Nah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Nah, a dick is useless without the host. It doesn't really do.
No, but I mean, you're not taking the lungs with the host.
Yeah, but you're not attaching.
Let's say you got some sort of dick cancer, that and now you need a new dick. Just like you've got lung cancer and you need new lungs.
But I don't think.
Gandhi, why would you need a liver?
Because the liver it takes care. It cleanses your system.
Yes, but now your liver's fucked up.
Yeah, but yeah.
So you need a new one.
Yeah, but would you take a new dick though, bro? From like somebody else?
Show me the catalog first. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is just show me. I'm not going to just say no without having seen the catalog. All I'm saying is just show me the options.
So what you got like?
When you're saying no, I don't even want to see the options. I'm 100% sure I'm not taking you up on your services, sir. I'm saying, you know what? My liver's okay. My lungs are okay. You know what? If you got some extra dicks lying around and they like premium stock, I'll look through your catalog, bro. When are you like, no?
Are you gonna be checking like where the dicks come from? Like, okay, are we talking Nigeria? Are we talking Bender dicks?
It's not about where it comes from.
Okay,
it's
just
catalog.
catalog.
It's just about how it looks. It'll have like
a dick catalog. Like,
it'll say this one when erect and like placid. I have to see both profiles.
Oh, so you look at a dick profiles basically.
Placid,
Okay,
erect.
At erect.
All of this. All I'm saying is that I'd at least look at the catalog.
I don't think dicks can be transplanted though. Do you think they can? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I mean, if they can transplant the heart, if they can, what can't they transplant? I mean, I think it's. I mean, the only thing that I think would be difficult to transplant is probably an eye.
Yeah, but there's some things from the eye. I think corneas.
But like, do you think a dick is a very complex organ?
Yeah, man, it's a reproductive system. I think it's very complex.
But they can take your dick and make it a vagina. They can also take your vagina.
No, they don't make
it a dick.
That's not what happens. They don't take your vagina and your dick and make it a vagina. They cut your dick off, and whatever that's left, they sort of, I don't know, cosmetically put it together, stitch it together, fold it or whatever to make it look like a vagina. And then there's a whole, obviously not qualified, but like they don't necessarily take your dick. They cut off the shaft, and then whatever that's left, they kind of sew it together and put it together and shape it in a way that it looks like a vagina, but it's actually not. I don't know what they do with the sensation because, yeah, I have no idea what they...
But I mean, don't you then take hormones after that? I mean, and we're speaking from people that are totally ignorant of the process, obviously. Don't you then take hormones that then help with that process? I mean, that's why
we'll have
I'm
to check
just
the catalog
inclined.
for that.
Yeah, but that's why I'm inclined to think that you probably could.
I don't know.
Transplant a penis because people can have sex changes.
Yeah, but those sex changes happen different. Like when people
it's like saying the technology is there. Like if you can surf the internet, then maybe you know what I mean. It's like the technology's there, but we still don't know what the internet can do.
To be quite honest, I haven't really I haven't interrogated either of these things, but the only thing that I know, especially about people who transition and whatever, it's when you do transition from woman to man and you want to go full transition, they do cut your penis off. That much I know. But
if you want to go man to woman,
man to woman. What did I say?
You said woman to man.
Hey, sir. Okay, I meant what you said. Man to.
If you want to go woman to man, and they cut your dick off, that is some bad service, yo. It's like them niggas don't know what the fuck they doing. They need to. You need to come holler at me. I can give you better service than that.
Part of that catalog. You need. Okay, no, sharp. I got.
Come look through the catalog with me.
Okay, but I thought it's
time's
different.
up actually.
Okay. We still actually got like because I said it at 12. I said it at 12. I said this at 11, so we know that we have like a minute left.
Oh, afterwards.
So
you have to go do the thing then?
Yeah, I'll go, and then I'll open up because it's starting to be red, so it means we're losing a lot of light. But I'll fix that now. So yeah, we'll pick up from what I thought about that, and then we'll carry on EasyJust Radio Podcast. Back at it again, like we never left. So where were we? Okay, I think we were talking about dicks and changing dicks from one dick to the next dick. Take off dick.
We were actually
and turn it. Okay, well, what I was saying was I've never interrogated the other side where you are transitioning from a woman becoming to a man. Yeah, because I know for a fact that they do augment the breast, depending on how gifted or not gifted you are, depending on your size. But they do cut off the breast. That much I know. But with reproductive tongue twister, reproductive organs with the dicks and whatever. I don't know if it goes to such extremes where if you didn't have a penis before, now you get a penis implanted, like a dick implant.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get a dick implant. I honestly don't know. I don't even know if people go to those extremes. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I'm very doubtful
like
of the fact
almost
that you
like
can.
what do they call it? Pin the donkey exercise.
I'm gonna try to get more light in here.
I didn't joke. That's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke.
You said it. Pin the donkey.
Kind of. It's like a surgeon's version of pin the donkey.
Looking a bit better, no? Likewise. Cool. Let's go. Podcast. We don't care. Mistakes are allowed. That's what I love about the internet, because we can actually do that shit.
And like I also think like realness is what I would tune into.
Yep, no doubt. But yeah, man, like I was saying, I really honestly, over and above all the bullshit that we were talking about, what can and can't be transplanted, what can and can't be moved around from human being to human being, I honestly think there is a very organized level of that crime that we do not know about. There is a very organized. I honestly think things like organs being transported from Africa to, from South Africa to like other parts of the world or other parts of the country, of the continent where they may be needed. Because look, if abortions can happen legally and illegally, what about everything else? Think about it. You can have legal, safe medical abortions, right?
Oh yes.
And
you
then
mean
you
like
have
having
botched
botched surgeries.
surgery.
Yeah,
So if people can go to
definitely.
levels of doing that kind of thing, then what's stopping people from having
I mean,
botched
Hey,
botched what's this, heart transplant and shit.
exactly.
Like,
No. I've definitely. I see it especially with models that'll have like a butt transplant
all
or
of those
something,
things.
and then it just doesn't work out.
No. It happens, man. I really think it can't take place for this long.
But you know what I wanted to hear about a
For
little bit more from you, Obakeng. I'm sorry
yeah.
I don't mean to cut your train of thought, but I wanted to hear more about how Bloom was at the time when that was happening. Was it so hectic that it was making like the daily Bloom newspaper? I don't know what it's called. It's called
Local
like
news, basically. Yeah. No, it did.
the
Look,
Bloom Field
I
of
wasn't
its-
the Bloomfield.
or
I think
the
with
Bloom
the Daily
or
Sun,
the Bloom Bulletin or
Bloom,
the
Bloom
Tabanchu
Daily
Times.
News.
Okay.
The Tabanchu Times. I don't know, man. I don't know, because look, at the time when this was happening, I wasn't living in Bloom.
Okay,
And
okay, I
this
see,
is
I see,
recent
I see.
memory. But I would hear stories. I would hear stories from like family, from my mom, from friends, just like stuff going around. And I don't hear them anymore, so I don't know if the thing is still going on. So because I don't hear the stories anymore. But I know for a fact that there was a time, and this is easily maybe like they say 3 years ago. I stand to be corrected on that. But there was a scourge of just like brutal violence, and also committed by kids, man.
Yeah, I know.
Kids,
Young boys.
young boys.
Exactly.
They're just out here,
And that's what I
doing
wanted
things
to
like
get
that.
to, because these young boys, I think there's something about young boys, particularly in the Sutu and the Xhosa culture, where there's like a sort of banding that happens with them. And then sometimes that violence emanates from them just coming together and just having bad ideas.
Yeah, I don't know what happens when it comes. Yeah, it's yeah, but yeah, it happens. It happens, and it's scary because it would even get very brutal, man. Where for example, they'd like small communities. You always know who lives where, whose
Yeah,
husband is
yeah,
still
yeah.
alive, who's somebody that's living alone. So you'd hear of these boys breaking into houses, and then they like rape old ladies and stuff like that, and like it was
Yes.
yeah, man, it got like it got serious. It got serious. But like I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen anymore. I don't say it does. I just don't know. But when I was living in Bloom, it was never the case.
Yeah, I know.
Well, let me strictly say we'd never hear about it that much. You know what I mean? If it did happen, it happened in places maybe where I was not living, maybe like deep somewhere. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I honestly don't know. But yeah, man, I think we need to move on to other things.
Yeah, ne? Like
'Cause,
happier stuff,
this,
maybe.
this,
Happier
this
stuff.
conversation it went very deep there for a little bit. For a little bit, it did. But we are living in interesting times, man, now. Where, there's one country that when it breathes or when it catches COVID or when it catches the flu or it coughs, all of us have to know about it. But now, you being the political guy in this space, or the let me rather say the guy that knows more about politics than I do. Trump is out.
Yeah. It's very
Biden is
interesting.
in. What do you think about that, man? What do you think about that, honestly? Like, how does this make you feel with regard to American politics and like Donald Trump being gone?
For me, what's interesting is that I wonder if it's, how it's more peaceful than I thought it would be after all outlets announcing that Biden has won. I thought that the Proud Boys and all of these basically like Ku Klux Klan affiliates, because that's really what they are. It's like right wing, and it's like it's a global movement. It's not just in the US, but it's very strong in the US. I thought that those people would be out in the streets, and I thought they'd be havoc. But it's fairly good. But at the same time, I don't think Joe Biden is too different from Trump. I just think he's you know what I think? I think he's like Havoc and Trump is Prodigy.
Havoc and Prodigy, how though?
In the way that Trump is very verbal, out there. He's like, how can I say? He's flamboyant.
Yeah.
Biden, I think, is going to be. I don't know if flamboyant is the correct word to use, and of course, comparing them to Mobb Deep is not the easiest analogy.
Yeah,
to
you're
make.
comparing two black
like
guys. This is what you just did. You compared two white men
to like two black guys,
to two rappers who probably wouldn't even like.
But I'm comparing real niggas to real niggas. Because here's the thing about Biden. I don't think he's like, he was vice president to Barack Obama.
He was vice president to Barack Obama.
But he's like, just hear the guy talk, man. Hear the guy talk. Listen, just watch all the videos of him sniffing little girls' hair and
Yeah, I find him boring. Stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I find Biden very boring.
I just don't think that he's going to be great. Is my thing. I don't think that he was a great candidate. In that way, he's not the opposite of Trump. So he's still like, for me, from the out of it, less incompetent than a lot of people out there that could have gone for president. And so in that way, I don't think it's going to change a lot of what Trump has put in place. I don't know a lot of detail about that stuff because it doesn't impact me so much. I don't import and export stuff, and I'm not Mexican. But I think...
And you're not Mexican.
Yeah, and I'm not Mexican. I think Biden is going to... Let me say it like this, rather, to wrap it up. Biden cannot afford to alienate the people that Trump had in his camp.
Okay. That you're right.
In his political
that
thing,
you're right.
He can't alienate those people. Because he's going to have to almost pander to them in order for him to have a successful term.
Yeah, because there are probably a lot of people that had voted for Trump before that have now voted for him. Because if you check the numbers, it's quite a significant win. My thing is now, man, I'm happy that Biden won, to be quite honest, because I think America is just gonna be we're gonna stop hearing so much about fucking America. Like,
no, we won't.
Well, maybe. I hope that we do. I hope that we hear a little bit less about them.
We'll hear less.
Well, yeah, but I just hope so. But also, I think it's gonna be a time where people can just stop judging each other based on who you voted for and if you were a Trump supporter or not. And I'm just hoping it would come across as being less divisive, because I think America now, like for the longest time, for the past 4 years, that's the timer, but we still have about another minute or whatever. I think for the last 4 years, this is the most divisive I've seen or heard. Even when topics didn't need to be divided across whatever it is that has been spoken about. Everything was on the basis of, are you for Trump or
Yeah.
are you for, or
Blue
are you
or
for
green pill.
You
You
know what I
always
mean?
have to pick a pill every single. It just felt like you were
All
watching.
the fucking time, and friendships were not like. I mean, what I hear from like different sources that I listen to, and I hear people in like podcasts and everything. It goes to it went to a point where even like families were broken up because now one family supports Trump and the other family doesn't, and then it becomes a thing. It became so much entrenched into their personal lives that it disturbs personal lives where it shouldn't. You know what I mean? But your political relations fuck. Actually, our card is full. This is what happens, but we still have audio. So this is the part. This is the part where we can actually put more like a picture over this shit. And this is the nice thing about it, because we're still recording the audio, so we're gonna put a picture over it, and then we're gonna cut back to the audio, to the video, after I dump the footage and everything else. So I don't know where it cut, but we're gonna carry on this conversation because I actually like this convo that we have now. EasyJust Podcast, we're still here. We're gonna come back immediately after this section. Enjoy the picture. So yeah, back at it again. Let me fix the mic real quick. Get it back to my face.
So yeah, I mean,
Back at it again.
I was saying, I feel like Biden coming in for Trump is definitely reminds me of like a Tuma Mina moment, because I feel like Biden is going to have Biden won the election, but half the population almost didn't want him to win. In the same way that Cyril Ramaphosa won the election, but like half of the people
Didn't really want him.
were like on the other side voting for someone else in a way. And so that makes the situation quite difficult for a politician, because you have to almost transform the organization before you can begin doing the work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It does make sense.
And so I think Biden's going to have to go through the same thing. And I don't even know if people like him enough for him to do that. I don't know if he's charismatic enough. I think Trump is charismatic enough to have even brought rappers on his side
Lil
somewhat.
Pimp.
Lil Pimp, Lil Wayne.
And Kanye West.
And that is quite if you put up the Spotify numbers, that is a significant amount of rapper to have. That is a significant amount of rapper to have.
He picked the based on the Spotify numbers.
Think
or something.
about it.
Get me. I can imagine Trump. Get me the highest Spotify.
Give me the highest streams.
The highest streaming artist. The highest rapper. I want to see him. He must
Streams
be
equal popularity.
He must be. What's the word that he likes to use? Tremendous numbers. Tremendous streaming numbers, folks. We just want tremendous numbers.
Exactly.
But you know what? I think, and this is a sentiment that has been shared by a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people actually like Biden. I don't even think black people like Biden, but they just wanted Trump out. So it's like would vote for Trump just to get would vote for Biden just to get Trump out, because like this guy, I think we didn't, especially from this country, unless you're one person that has been following American politics since, I don't know, the fucking 80s or whenever, we don't know how entrenched this guy has been in their politics before he became president, before he became
Trump now or Biden?
Trump specifically, because like Trump has
he
always
must have been part of New York politics.
Yeah, well, yeah. In general, he's always been in the whenever some unrest, some whatever happens. Like for example, the story with the Central Park 5. And all of that.
Yeah.
You know, that was obviously that whole story with it being attached to police brutality and all of that. He was very much entrenched in that story where he believed that the boys actually did that and he wanted them to be sent to jail and all of that.
Yeah.
With that, and this is like in the 80s, before he was even I don't even think he was thinking about being president then. His legacy in terms of the political landscape has
political
been,
influence.
Yeah, his political influence. Thank you for the English. You know what I mean? Has been very negative, especially when it comes to minorities or to black people, Mexicans, everyone. It's always been very negative. His legacy there. So we in this country, we only really knew about him, or maybe even started paying more attention to him once he became president. Most people don't even know Trump before he became president. He was obviously known for fucking
The
Apprentice and the fact that he was the businessman and the Trump Towers and whatever.
Home Alone.
It's Home Alone.
He made a cameo.
In Home Alone?
Home Alone 2, yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did.
I had no, and I've watched Home Alone
A
so many times.
younger
I don't remember Trump in Home Alone.
No, he's there.
Like out there, Macaulay Culkining and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks. But I mean, he's always.
I think there's a scene in the Trump Tower or something.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't. The only thing I'm just like, I'm glad that he didn't win. Like I said before, is I just want to see Americans sorting their shit out instead of, I don't know, Trump being the excuse for everything. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, and you're saying you're looking forward to now America actually owning up to its Americanness, outside of having Trump to point it at now.
Yeah, outside of the division that a Trump presidency
I think that's very
caused.
profound, and I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Because Trump going, for example, does not mean the problems that America has are going to go away. It's just that he became the poster boy for all of that shit.
Yeah,
and he didn't do himself justice by how he was in his presidency. And I don't know a lot about politics, and I don't know my viewpoint on that is strictly from just like an observational point of view. Whatever, the way he carried himself in that space didn't necessarily work in his favor.
Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? It didn't work in his favor. So now, but in the same sense, like we said, it doesn't necessarily take the problems that America had. In fact, I think his presidency kind of amplified and put everything on display.
Yeah.
And now we're also in this space where everything is recorded on phones, and we actually get to see a lot of that. Now he's gone, so there is no Trump to point at now.
Yeah, it's
We
going to be
can
very
point at his
interesting.
legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna point at his legacy. We're gonna point at, and people are still gonna refer to, the Trump presidency, and there's still gonna be problems.
That's why I think the most interesting part of what you're saying now is how much of Trump is Biden going to try and undo?
Probably a lot.
Like of the stuff that he's done.
A lot.
You think so? Do you think he's got the political will to undo a lot of the stuff that he's done?
I think he's gonna do it in his own way. I don't think he's gonna do it as gratuitously as what Trump was doing to the Obama legacy. Because Trump was very blatant about what he was doing, like trying to dispel Obamacare and all of those things, and basically shitting on everything that Barack Obama had created. I think he's definitely gonna try and do it, but he's gonna try and do it in a very PC sort of way, because the Democratic Party tends to be very it's the vegan party. You know what I mean?
The reason why I say that is Trump's stance was very, how can I say, nationalistic.
Yeah.
And in that sense, he managed to recuperate a lot of, I'm going to say, fluidity in the market of America, in that there was a lot more money somewhat in America. So when I watch like any stuff where they're talking about Trump and they're talking about his policies, one thing that is really true is that he did make a lot of jobs somewhat. I mean, outside of COVID now, before COVID, he made a lot of jobs. He did make the richer much richer.
Of course.
But he did also somewhat, I don't know if it's called trickle-down economics or whatever that is, but he also made a lot of people have jobs. You know, I mean, the what do they call it? Unemployment was the best that it had been in a long time. So all those things that he likes to boast about were actually there.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think Biden's going to have a hard time untying those shoelaces is because if all of the things that he had put in place were making that happen to the economy, what foot is he going to have on the stoop of coronavirus and having to make jobs and have stimulus plans? How is he going to undo a lot of the things that Trump has done? Because a lot of those things that he has done, mhlawumbe on a surface or aesthetic level, look like they're good for the American economy. And maybe, they're not for the long term, but a lot of those things are things that I don't know if he'll be able to do with a country that's, kind of cash-strapped and can't afford to have people be more unemployed or afford to give itself as a country more to the globalization prospect than to its own interests.
Probably. We'll just have to wait and see. So if I was to paraphrase, there's a Zulu on my stoop. Uzoenzani ngoku lo mntu?
Exactly. I love that.
Uzoenzani ngoku lo mntu? No, look, we'll have to wait and see.
Well done.
Look, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, look, I don't follow politics that much, but I think they as you said, there are a lot of good things. Much as this guy was what he was, you know what I mean? And there are probably a lot of good things that has
Yeah.
happened for America under his presidency. I'm not gonna claim to know what they are, but you've mentioned like somewhere jobs.
And
have
I
been
was
created.
surprised, I hope people aren't thinking Uguti, I've got a MAGA hat or something,
No,
I'm
like,
all about
facts are
right
facts,
wing.
and the thing that you can't argue with are numbers and facts, because
Yeah.
you can't make up your own facts. You can make up an opinion, you can make up an observation, you can make all of that up. But if there's hard, fast facts of what has
Yeah.
happened, and you detach your emotions, you detach what you think, you detach what you feel, and you just look at, has this policy garnered or changed or improved a certain thing, be it economy, be it jobs, be it whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Did it do it? Yes or no? Hard and fast facts. If it's like hard yes, you can't argue with that, and there is no space for your emotion or for your objectivity in that space. Right? So yeah. I just want to see these people like now dealing with the meat of their issues without having to say it's because of Trump that this is happening. It's because of Trump. Because racism in America, racism in the world has been there post-Trump and pre-Trump. Police brutality, all of those things that had maybe become amplified because it was him being there, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it made it easier for quote unquote the racists or whatever to just like do their thing, or whatever the case may be. Right? But it doesn't mean that under all of these presidencies before him, none of that shit was there. Maybe a lot of it came out, maybe whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
now that you don't have a scapegoat finger, and he has a lot of his faults that he had in his presidency. But now that you don't have a scapegoat finger, are you finally going to sort out your issues and go to the meat of the issue, and not make your observation Trump first and then the issue?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting how that unfolds, yes, because as you said earlier, their country in Gogo is very divided,
Yeah, insanely.
very, very, very divided. So they might as well have apartheid.
Yeah.
So if
A
it's
very
that
comfortable
divided,
apartheid.
yeah,
If you ask me.
so if it's that divided, how does Joe have the ability to bring everyone together
I don't
outside
know.
of those differences? Because as we heard from Dave Chappelle earlier on today, it's not about it's about addressing the feeling that you have when when things are different from what you want, or people are different from what you want. So does he have the power to make Americans accept the differences and love each other nevertheless? Because we've seen how powerful it's been not addressing those differences and looking at them as if they're threatening things.
I have no idea. And we think it just stopped recording, so I'm going to have to start recording. But this is the nice thing. We still have the audio,
Okay.
so we can still actually continue.
Yeah. One thing I hope we get to talk to just a little bit before we go today is that the government is formalizing the taxi industry.
The government is
Of South
formalizing.
Africa.
Oh, what?
Yeah, is formalizing. So basically, Santaco is in some sort of agreement with the Department of Transport, National Department of Transport.
I didn't know that.
And what they're looking at is formalizing the system of taxi driving.
Formalizing how? I mean, this is obviously like
what a wonderful question.
yes, formalizing. This is obviously like a different trajectory that we're taking, and I think, yeah, finishing up on the whole Trump thing. Like, I think we're in consensus on some. We'll wait and see what happens, you know. But I'm like,
not excited though.
I'm not excited, but I'm just glad that Trump is out, because I was all Trumped out.
Me, I don't know. At least I got some entertainment with Trump.
Yeah, no, he was very entertainment. He was very entertaining. He was
now
very
I
entertaining.
might get Joe Biden, who just might be another regular, not really competent, saying the same like trained gibberish.
He is gonna do that.
He's gonna sound like a bad version of George Bush and his dad. The nice thing,
Bush, Bush was Republican, right?
Yeah, Bush was Republican. His dad was Republican. The only nice break was Obama
And Clinton.
because he was. But I mean, when it comes to Clinton, Bush's dad, and Biden,
Daddy Bush.
think it's Daddy Bush. Yeah, Big Daddy Bush.
Big Daddy Bush. Dabush.
Umambush.
Emma Bush. Oh, Emma Bush.
I think that they all like they trained presidents. I think like Obama was not a trained president in the sense that because he was the black president, he always had like a different take on things or a way that he used to say things, which was genuine though. When I say trained, I don't mean just in the sense that parroting. I mean like in the sense that it will be a genuine answer because it comes from a genuine perspective.
Right.
So I don't think that we had that with all the other white presidents, but we did have that with Trump because he was so not a president.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go back to that. We're going to go back to that trained professional who's going to sound like Bule Mabe, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, I get you.
Yeah.
I think America's going to miss his tweets, though.
They're not going to go away. Why is his tweets going to go away? Even if he goes to prison, he can probably still get a cell phone.
Do you think he's still gonna say some shit like after this, like post this whole
He's
thing?
been saying shit. He said he's going to sue.
Oh yeah, he was.
He said he's going to sue all of the states where he didn't win because they counted invalid votes.
I was just looking at the numbers. I wasn't looking at. I wasn't listening to.
He owns all of the judges because he during his 4 years he put all of the judges in place.
Yeah.
So it depends on whether the American judiciary is what's the word I'm looking for? Is impartial enough.
Yeah.
Is impartial the word I'm looking for?
I think so, but for the sake of English, we'll say
when you
it's
don't
impartial.
pick between a blue or
that
a green
is impartial.
pill.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can hope that those courts are impartial enough to not have to pay Trump back like a favor in a way. So if it's like that, then I guess the world is safe. If it's not, then this nigga is ready to sue.
Nah, he's out there. Some Jalen. Nisuwa nonke futsaki.
Nizonya.
Nizonya. Okay. Nizonya. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But I for one, yeah, it was thoroughly entertaining. I'm gonna miss the Trump memes. That's one thing I'm
They're not gonna
miss.
stop.
You think? Yeah, we'll see.
He's now, the one thing about Trump is that if there's one thing that you can definitely say about him is that he thrives on popularity. He builds on it.
Yeah.
So
if
he
anything,
doesn't.
this has even
He doesn't
given
have
him
like
a
a
lot
TV
more.
show like The Apprentice and then go away. He has The Apprentice and then goes and becomes the president. You know what I mean? And even before The Apprentice, he's always dabbling in something that makes him more popular.
Yeah.
And then makes his name have more capital in a way. And he makes niggas pay to use his name, hey? That's one thing that I've heard that he's really good at. That if you're going to put Trump on any... He's not like the Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Either the Wu-Tang, you can put it on anything. You can put the Wu-Tang on your fridge now. You can put it on your shoes. Or Reza is a sloppy-ass nigga when it comes to his copyright. But Trump, when it comes to his copyright, he is on that shit.
Every MAGA hat is an original.
You must know.
It's an original MAGA hat.
He's not sleeping on himself like Reza.
Got you. All right, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens after that, man. And obviously, this is gonna give comedians a lot less material. Those Trump bashing comedians, they have enough to last them like until a few months to write about Trump being gone, and then they have to find new shit to write about. So we'll see.
It's gonna be interesting to see how the Daily Show goes, right?
Yeah, actually.
Because when you think of all the material outside of Trump in the Daily Show, I'm not saying it's bad, it's still good, but the Trump material made it for me the thing to watch when I go on YouTube.
Of course.
So now without that, I want to see how... I don't know. I want to see how it goes.
Now, what if now Daily Show moves to Fox News? It moves to
How do you
Fox.
mean? The Daily Show moves to
Oh, no.
Fox.
The Daily Show is on Comedy Central. What the hell am I even saying? Look, the thing is...
Yeah, I was trying so hard to get your joke.
Yeah,
I was like
no,
ready.
it didn't-
I was like
it
even
didn't
like
happen.
ready to like
No,
laugh and smile.
I fucked that one up. But it was something about... Well, basically, I wanted to say what's gonna happen to like what stance.
What's gonna happen to
News
Fox
gonna
News
take?
now?
Yeah. What's gonna
that's
happen with
interesting.
them now?
I guess they're gonna bash Trump like they were bashing Obama. They're gonna bash Biden,
Like they were bashing Obama. Oh yeah, so same script. Just
Same
let's go. So they're going back to the Obama script.
What are they gonna say when Trump gets arrested? Maybe.
What?
Okay, maybe they won't arrest him because he's a former president. But I mean, of all the stuff that had come out when he was president, and he could kind of, he could lock it away in a safe in the way that some presidents do. I don't know Ngogo if he's able to do that stuff because he's gonna be in a bit of a Jacob Zuma, isn't he?
How?
In the sense that he won't have the political prowess.
Oh
or
I
the
get you.
presidential capital to protect himself
and the influence. But I think I don't think it's gonna bother him, because he had another muscle that had always protected him before, and that was business. You know what I mean? And the business muscle that is
and he made a lot
corporate
of money as
America,
president.
business America. America is a country that is built on business. That is what they do. Their capital is business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he has the financial muscle to protect him from a lot of the things that he would have probably not had protection from. And I'm using protection loosely right here, because of the way he wields money.
Yeah, and I guess it's also a matter of the political will to actually put him away in America, which I think is not very high, because he's partying with Jeffrey Epstein, he's partying with Bill Clinton. So maybe there isn't a lot of people won't want to see him arrested so much, and it might even cause like an uproar if you want to arrest Trump because he's got a lot of followers.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, if enough people voted for him to be president, but
I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like a couple years ago I would have said the same thing about Jacob Zuma, but right now I don't know if he won't go to jail.
Also now it's not so many of us are not, a lot of us are not even thinking about him because he's not in our faces as much as he used to be. So it almost becomes like a out of sight, out of mind type of thing, unless you are completely invested in what's happening there. But you mentioned something earlier, because now we have to stop this Trump thing. We'll see how that whole plays out. Now, bringing it back home, you mentioned that the taxi industry is being formalized.
Yeah. They're gonna get all taxi drivers have to now wear closed shoes. So they can't just be rocking flip flops all the time. Like, I once saw a taxi driver come out and punch the shit out of a guy wearing flip flops, bro. Like, he didn't even miss steps. The
goal of being punched by a guy that's wearing flip flops. Like, that's fucking disrespect, bro. That is such disrespect.
But anyway, so they're gonna formalize.
Also, when you fall, you're gonna fall next to this man's feet, and they probably smell.
Yeah.
Like,
and if they don't smell, you at least don't want to look at them.
Of course, because motherfuckers don't even cut their toenails.
The worst part was this guy was getting beat up in front of his kids. Because he was taking his kids to work.
Did he pay with a 100 rand in the morning?
No. He wasn't. It's a good one.
Because
he was another driver, and he was. I think he was probably complaining about the way taxi drivers drive. So that's I'm just mentioning that because that falls into formalizing taxis.
So we're starting with shoes.
Yeah.
Not the whole. So we're not even starting. Why are they starting with shoes instead of the taxi?
So they basically said taxi drivers have to wear shoes because you can't. Taxi drivers can't go around punching people wearing flip flops. It's very disrespectful.
So you have to wear shoes.
It's worse than driving on the other side of the road, which they do too sometimes. And then they said,
just make sure if you're driving on the other side of the road, you're wearing fucking shoes.
Exactly.
Closed shoes. Okay.
Taxi drivers have to stop wearing wife beaters, so they need to be dressed formally for work. And then they said they're gonna try and make them pay taxes. I don't know how that's going to work because I think the whole thing about the taxi business is the exchange of money, right? It's the exchange of money. Unless they're gonna introduce systems where you're gonna have a card system like you do have Gumai City, then they'll be able to tax them. Otherwise, they can't actually keep track of money changing hands. I
think they'll never. And come to think of it, when you talk about formalizing it, and now it's starting to make sense in my head. Taxi drivers, I don't think they contribute to South African tax as much as they should be.
So this is what the news person was saying, and the taxi person on the other side was getting very agitated with this woman saying that they don't pay taxes. So I guess organizations like Abo Santaco and I guess like Cape Town based is what do they call it? I forget, but they've got these names, okay? All of the different taxi associations,
Right.
and they're demarcated by region. I think those associations have to pay taxes because, as a member of that association, you have to pay a joining fee and I think an annual fee too. So I would suggest that they have to have that paper trail for that money. So then they have to pay those taxes.
Yeah.
But in terms of
Everyday
paying
trade.
the taxes, I mean, I don't know if SARS has the capacity to keep up with the changing rates, although they should. Taxi drivers should be, but you can't really tell how many people are actually in the taxi as it commutes. I think that's the issue.
You never really know, man, because also like it's such a heavily. We got like 30 seconds to go. So we kind of need to pause and then pick it up from here real quick. Stop.
Cool.
And soon. So yeah, as you were saying, we just getting back onto the topic about the formalizing of the taxis and stuff. You were somewhere. I forgot where you were.
Oh yeah, I was probably talking about how it is probably very difficult to track how much money taxis actually make because it's money exchanging hands. It's like tracking money at a flea market.
True.
So it's like making people with stands at a flea market pay rent.
Yeah.
Not rent, tax.
And it's such a heavily cash based business. Everybody gets paid cash. The drivers get paid cash.
That's what I'm saying. They might introduce like a card system like they do have with Abo My City or something.
They will oppose that because the thing about taxi drivers. If this thing is really going on, it's going to be very dirty. The transition of it is going to be very dirty. It's going to be very, I presume it probably being violent as well.
But this is not the government strong arming the taxi industry. Maybe strong arming is a word that might want to use or not use. But so they're coming into an agreement, the taxi people and the government to do this. So maybe violence might not happen, but I can definitely see the resistance that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I don't see these guys. First of all, these guys will punch you wearing flip-flops. Fam. So for them to say that, actually let me pay 40% tax all of a sudden.
Nah.
It's not the kind of thing that a guy that punches you wearing flip-flops does.
Also another
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah, no. A guy's gonna punch you wearing flip-flops. A guy's gonna punch you wearing flip-flops, my man. He's not. He's already operating on bare minimum.
You know what I'm saying, bro? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't abide by rules.
He's already operating on bare minimum. He is probably the only customer of whoever that's still making shambok out there.
Exactly. And that business doesn't die.
That business doesn't die. The
business
shamboks are
doesn't
still
die.
there, But the thing also that we must not forget is that especially when it comes to government, there's a lot of government people that also own taxis.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? That are in that business. Hence why when the taxi industry in South Africa becomes, it's literally a law unto themselves. Because they can literally stick a middle finger up to the government and say, fuck this. And they don't really get a lot of resistance. Why? Because they have interests. There are people in government that have interest in that in that business because it's fucking lucrative.
And besides that, they wield a lot of power.
Yeah.
They're the only organization I've seen that has closed down the N1 in Johannesburg.
My guy.
In Johannesburg.
Joneses.
Where they have that stock exchange one. That one.
The very one.
Them niggas said, Anidlula. Anidlula.
And I come to July, actually.
I get Kundodlula.
And nobody
that was
do
that.
And nobody
Nobody
do
do
that.
that, and then they had to go. I don't know what the president was doing, but he had to stop and address that shit.
Yeah. And they want it to remain as lawless as it is because it works into their favor. Because now, the minute it becomes incredibly regulated, as it should, because the way taxi runs in this country is balachlik in Afrikaans. You know what I mean?
What does that mean?
It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And we don't have to regurgitate because we know how the violence, the disrespect, the sheer disrespect for commuters, the fact that the safety of the vehicles that are not taking the law, the way they drive on the roads. There's so many things that that we can point to, and this is preaching to the choir if we have to go through all of those things. But it works in their favor, in their lawless favor, with them not being regulated, because they know all the loopholes they can go through to not pay tax, to not do a lot of things that they're supposed to do, because if they did, it would mean less money in their pockets.
And probably less power.
Less power as well. You know what I mean? So if it's become so now you mentioned like they're not allowed to wear flip flops.
Not allowed to wear flip flops. Not allowed to wear wife beaters.
Is there gonna be like a taxi driver school?
Yeah, and they have to say please and thank you.
Never.
They've been ordered that if you don't say please and thank you, your license will be revoked.
So
they're gonna have recording speakers in the taxi. They're saying they actually want to change the culture of. I'm kidding. What? They're not gonna do all that shit.
I wonder.
But that is how they should do it. If you ask me,
are people gonna finally be comfortable to pay with 100 rand in the morning if that's only the only cash you have? Are you finally gonna be free? Like, are you not gonna get shouted at?
No, I think it's fine if you pay with 100 rand in the morning. But I think the new rule is that if you want to pay with 100 rand in the morning, you have to wait for your change.
Well,
so they're going to go to the taxi rank, drop everyone off, go have breakfast, go to the ATM or to the nearest shop that might have change.
Or buy cigarettes somewhere
ask
there.
For your change. you're in the taxi the whole time when.
And you get to work or you don't get to work is nobody's problem.
If you want your change, it's you want to come with 100 rand. You can either get your change at 5 now when you leave work. You can come back to the taxi rank and wait for the taxi. Then you get your change. That's the new rule. You definitely can't bring 200 rand in the morning, but just know that you must come very early.
Yes. So the first one they have to start with is Noord in Johannesburg, because I've heard horror stories about Noord.
What is that?
That's a taxi rank in Johannesburg.
Oh, okay.
Very famous taxi rank for all the.
Is that the one in Hillbrow?
I don't know where it is. I just know it's called Noord.
It must be in the north somewhere.
Well, it goes without saying.
I'm just saying. I also know words like belachelijk,
belachelijk. No, man. Noord is one taxi rank that is very famous for the infamous, for very bad things, for how women get treated, for violence, for so many. Look, all the taxi stereotypes that you know, it's very famous for all of those things.
So in Noord, one must never speak English.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you quickly finish your phone call with your boss before you arrive at the taxi rank.
All of them things. Phone robberies, every single stereotype, every single thing that you've known about taxi ranks at the extreme of it. Probably like Noord is like the poster boy.
That's where it came from.
Basically, yeah. Noord exports taxi violence to the rest of the country. This is what I've heard.
I wonder. I bet you there's one that is even worse. KZN.
Yeah, probably. But because Johannesburg was
Johannesburg.
It's Johannesburg. We'll see. So I'm like now. So they're gonna regularly, like, in Cape Town we have laptops.
Yes.
So you're not gonna have laptops anymore. They're not gonna be like full capacity, like 30.
But
40
we don't
people.
have laptops right now. It seats 15 individuals.
15-ish. Oma 15, you know almost.
What laptop? What crate?
Oma 15. Because when you say it seats 15 yana. 15-ish.
I'm at a taxi driver. They'll even make you sit like on top of the engine in the front seat where there's no back way. Every time it's accelerating. Yeah!
My guy. Have you sat on top of the wheel? Like you see that little wheel?
You mean in the old?
On the old taxis, the old ones.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man, that shit gets hot.
You'll stand. Not even sometimes you don't even sit. You'll stand in the railings there where the door goes, right? The little steps.
Yeah.
That little space, you'll put your feet there and everything, and you'll hold on to something. And you'll stand. So it's really. That industry needs to be fucking regulated. Man.
Yeah, we've been through a lot with the taxis.
Nah, it being it really does need to be regulated heavily.
But you know why I think that it won't really happen? Like, this is just dressing up. If a private organization like Uber cannot regulate and take care of their drivers, and they already have a lot of information on all their drivers, you know, with them having that little room in terms of regulating what actually happens, how on earth is the government going to do it when they don't have a great track record of, you know,
I have
things like
no idea.
You need like American military precision.
You need the Expendables. You know the
what I mean?
Expendables. You need Dolph Lundgren. You need Rambo, otherwise known as Sylvester Stallone. You need,
and just in case
need
bullets
all of those
don't
stuff.
work, you need like a Jet Li,
Yay.
and a Jackie Chan,
Yay.
and the Ong Pak, and
Yay.
the Ip Man.
Ip Man. I was about to say Ip Man as well.
All of those guys.
Can I recommend that other guy who once upon a time in
Wong Fei Hong.
Wong Fei Hong.
You need Wong Fei Hong also there.
You need all of them. You need all of those guys to just like regulate what these dudes are doing, man. You need all of that stuff because
Wong Fei Hong.
Nah,
a crazy hairline, you know. And one of those Sim Sima hairlines. Wong Fei Hong. Shout out Sim Sima. Love you, bro.
Can I get a spot?
Yeah, can I get a spot, son?
Nah, man. It's gonna be because the thing is like this thing is entrenched. It goes so deep with the whole taxi. It goes so deep. That I don't know if the government if I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it. If they are gonna do it, they're gonna have to get rid of also the bad apples that exist within that structure coming from government. You know what I mean?
Or like in the government,
like people that have heavy interest. Because I think there are, like we said, there are people that have heavy interest in the thing in the taxi industry.
Informalized.
And yeah, because they have their taxi bosses, they all of these things. And it means now if that shit changes, it's gonna fuck with their money. And you know how it goes down with South African corruption. Everything is, even the things that you don't think have corruption.
Wow, and you know what? The taxi industry might be the last corruption haven if it's like unregulated.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Where you can still just practice good old corruption. You know?
Like
without some people coming here to come complain about your corruption. You're like, man, you know, like just the good old days.
You know, because people are even like the commuters are just like we just not complacent, but like we're so used to it. That it's become a joke.
The abusive relationship.
The abusive relationship that we have with taxis. We're so used to it now. It's become a part of our lives. Like, taxi, no taxi. Oh, can I wait? Oh, no taxi. You know, we already like now if you drive like shit on the roads, like you drive like a taxi driver. We've become so desensitized to the bullshit that they do. That it's somewhat part of South Africa's general makeup. It's just like no takes. Magazine in Bombay. You know what I mean? So in all seriousness though, man, if this thing is really gonna happen, they're going to have to do a lot of cleaning up from the inside. The thing has stopped recording again, so we'll just finish it. We'll just finish it coming back. Wait! I wanna get that on camera. 10 minutes. Okay, what's the story?
Story about it's actually just a meme actually where there's a woman that says to a Zulu man, but he's kind of dressed like a taxi driver. Is mntuam ngiyakuthanda, and this is like on the phone, and he's like it's not about that. It's not about that lovey-dovey shit. Get out of here.
You're cramping my style.
Yeah, cramping my style. That love shit is for the weak. But we need to address that. Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of that conversation actually happening. Babe.
Was on Petel.
That's on Petel. I mean, lovey up.
But yeah, God bless all the taxi drivers though.
Yeah, man.
They still taking, to work South Africa's workforce every single day. And that's the real workforce. The millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people that make everything happen. the laborers, not the site agents.
Yeah.
You know, the laborers. They're the ones that make it happen.
Yeah, so they just have to do it now with a lot more respect, a lot so that everybody just wants a little bit of dignity, man, when you're traveling.
Yeah, no?
Because like that thing has become so bad that the very first thing you do, like I remember when I used to take taxis back and forth from work, and back and whatever. The very first thing when I could afford a car, that's the first thing I did. Because you just want to get the hell out of that system because it's that bad. You know what I mean?
But you know, it's funny because it's an ecosystem thing. So that's why I think that this formalizing it is very good. Because if you have organizations that hire cleaners and everybody and everybody that has to get on a taxi, and it's not just cleaners, obviously, it's everybody across the board.
It's professionals, it's everyone.
But the organizations that how can I say, corporate must allow people to arrive in a little bit later. Even if they are cleaning, even if they are making food, even if they are whatever.
Yeah.
People must be able, so that taxis don't frantically drive as crazy as they do trying to get people to work early. Because that's what makes it so dangerous for people. It's because the taxis want to rush. I agree that the taxis aren't rushing particularly to get your ass to work. They don't give a fuck about you.
No, they don't.
They need to make their target.
They don't. They need to make their target. That's why the problem is not getting people to work on time. The problem is they need to get target and how they get paid. And also, my thing is, Kwandane, if we had good public transport, right? If the taxis were to organize, organize, maybe, bro. But if they were to organize and become a fully a well-functioning system that is not entrenched in everything else that is wrong with the country, like crime, like, you know, all that, because this, you know, this industry, the taxi industry is basically run by mob bosses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they don't operate only in the taxi industry. They operate in other things, and taxis also get used in acts of violent crime.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
What I mean?
That's true. That's true.
So, but now, if this was an industry that is quote unquote, you know, clean, regulated, pure, whatever the case may be, a good public transporting service that works with dignity, that is nicely formalized and organized, and it's not a problem for you to get a taxi from whatever route to, whatever area to whichever area because of route clashes and all of those things. If it was a well-functioning system, people wouldn't even need to want to buy cars, whatever, because now you have a system that is focused on the people that it's serving, and it's actually getting them to work on time, not stopping at a certain hour, whatever the case may be. Then we wouldn't even have these pressures if it just operated with some fucking dignity, man.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Because check countries, for example, that have good public transport, just in general, public transport, like Canada, for example. Yeah. Canada has excellent public transport. America, obviously, to a degree, is excellent public. You don't feel the need to want to get a car. You don't have the pressure.
Yeah.
To wonder, because that's extra expenses that you don't need if you think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and also another thing that it does, it alleviates traffic on the roads and all of those things. You have less accidents and all of those things. If this because it's a very vital component, it's a very vital business that we need in this country, especially for people that live in townships and everything, to get to work and all of that. If it was ran well by people who understand business acumen, if it had, I don't know, electronic systems or whatever.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Things like that. Where it runs like a proper business. If you can pay by a card, you can do this thing. If it was just a pure, well-run business, then our people wouldn't even need to be frantic with buying cars, and we could actually have better lives where people will be able to afford things, buy houses, buy this and that, because you don't feel the
not
pressure.
So much money on transport.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man. If there is actual regulation that's going to be taken seriously, and they're gonna at least extend the long arm of the law to finally regulate this, which I don't see it happening. It would be a better country to live in.
I don't know. For me, it's like saying you're gonna regulate prisons.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? You
Probably
can't.
not.
You can't talk about that. That's like No, you can't.
It's not gonna happen. No, we know it's not gonna happen.
The power dynamics don't allow.
Nah,
The government is not more powerful than taxi drivers,
Hell
so they
no.
can't regulate.
That's why they can stick a middle finger to them and be like, "Fuck no, we're not gonna do it." Even now with COVID, bro, they were like, "We're gonna run at full capacity." Fuck you. They listened for like what, all of 8 seconds, and then
Yeah, they'll only listen insofar as the customer wants. If the customer is like, I don't know, yes, I'm not sure. Actually, won't you just sort? If the customer's like, yes, you know what? I'm not sure. Just sort that out with the government, Mr. Taxi Driver.
Good luck.
It's late.
Good luck.
Only the customer actually
Good
can say
luck.
to the taxi driver, okay, I'm not getting into this taxi if it's not so and so and so. But if it's anybody else,
My guy,
libala.
customers even get most attacked. You know what was this that thing about you get in a taxi, you can't get out until it's full. You know that shit kind of happens, right? Where you get in, you cannot decide to get out.
Kalok, but you still have a lot of power if you don't get in.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
once you're in, all your power is gone.
Once you get in, your power is
Your
gone.
power is
man.
gone.
But Vele, you can't come in and then come out again, because what if the taxi's like got 2 people left, and now when are you telling me you're not down for this shit no more?
Exactly.
You're not down for this trip no more.
But I honestly think if it was formal, like they'll actually make much more money because the routes will be open. They'll be able to cover so much ground, so much distance, and all of that stuff. There will be actually more money to be made. Maybe ad space. There's so many other avenues of income that could be created within that space that they are not just willing to do, because it's always been an informal, do whatever the hell you want. We have associations that are the only sort of formal structure that organization has. Besides all of that, they don't even follow the rules of the road. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
No, we'll have to see. I think the big wigs will get money. I don't see individual taxi drivers making more money.
Not at all. Not at
Unless they regulate how much they actually get paid.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens, man. Maybe Fofoma study signing in the next 25 years will be a thing of the past.
Yeah. Maybe it will.
Maybe it will. Right. So, yeah. EasyJust Radio Podcast, first episode. This was hella fun.
Yeah,
It was hella fun.
Very
This was
engaging.
hella fun. I enjoyed this. For our first episode, I think I enjoyed this, man. This was fun. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. There was a lot of newsworthy stuff to talk about. I mean, it's happening on the backdrop of the U.S. elections. Good to have Trump out, I guess.
Yes.
For Mexicans, I guess. For Mexicans mostly.
Mostly and black people.
Yeah, Mexicans and black people. Yeah, okay, yeah. Some, but not all black rappers.
Yeah.
So it was good to talk about stuff. Always good chopping it up with you, bro. I mean,
Likewise, fam.
That's a big reason why we do this. I think is so that we can sit and chop it up and bear fruit. That's what we did today, and that's what we'll be doing as we continue the show. Yeah.
So yeah, man. We do it for us. We actually do it mostly for us. We don't really do it for you. We do it for us.
Who?
This podcast, the people that are watching.
You do it for who? What people?
You see? Exactly.
Exactly.
But, if you love it, give us a like, give us a share. If you don't, we like it, so it's fine. But we obviously do want you to like it. And tell your friends about it and everything. Share. This is the first of many. We're going to continue doing this. We're going to continue chopping it up about so many different things. And pretend to care about your opinion in the comments.
Yes, we're definitely going to do that. So write them in there. Say what you think, say what you feel. And yeah.
Love y'all, man. So we'll see you. This was episode 1 of EasyJust, the EasyJust podcast with myself, Obakeng Moroe.
Birth of the coup.
And of course, my boy Kwanda Sutinduku. We'll see you on the next one. Peace, much love, and thank you for sticking around long enough for this first episode. We'll see you in the next one. Follow us everywhere. The descriptions, the follows, and what will all be in the descriptions below. Love y'all. Peace. Regao fela. Netso. EasyJust. Hey, tada. Are you done now? That's like a cum shot.
That is what Joe Biden. That's what Joe Biden is doing on people's heads in the pictures, man. Have you seen it?
No, I don't want to see it. Also, I don't think I'm done talking now. It's fine.
All right, peace.
Peace.